Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports here with myself Charlie. A reminder before the video starts to please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Now, the FIFA World Cup draw happened last night and everyone is writing the obligatory "I fear for the future of football" posts. And it got me thinking and it got me quite angry, to be honest, because what is there to fear for? It's already happened. Football is already dead. And yet people still persist with this idea of, oh, it's on the decline. No, it's gone. It's fully gone. And last night was just the cherry on top. You know, we're seeing journalists come out and say, oh, that was terrible. Terrible the way it was. It was such a Trump-filled show. Now, listen, I'm not here to get political about Donald Trump or about the American elections or American politics. That's not what I'm here to do. But people talking like they're shocked. This is a FIFA who, last time out hosted a World Cup in Qatar, where there was literal migrant workers, coffins being lined up at airports who were not being paid to build stadiums. You know, there was scenes at Kathmandu Airport in Nepal where Nepali migrant workers who had built the stadiums in Qatar, their coffins were lined there on the runway. Or should we go back to 2018 when they hosted it in Russia? Oh, look what's happened now. Look what's going on. There's a war in Ukraine and Russia have tried to invade Ukraine. Let's have it right. They're the last two World Cups. But all of a sudden, Trump YMCA, this is terrible. The FIFA Peace Prize, this is terrible. The football lost its soul ages ago. And now all of a sudden we're going, oh, well, this is like, look at around you. This isn't just a problem of FIFA. This is a problem of everywhere. Let's take myself, for example. I'm a Nottingham Forest member. I'm not a season ticket holder. I'm a member. That's why I'm not at Everton today. Believe me, I'd be there if I could, although it's 2-0 at half-time, so probably not. They're charging me ridiculous amounts to even just have a chance of getting a ticket for a game. To be a member where I'm not guaranteed to get a ticket. You know, it's £70 to go and watch us play Chelsea earlier in the season in a lunchtime kickoff when we had Ange Postecoglou as manager and looked like we didn't know how to play football. £70 the club was charging. This is somehow a shock to people. We have a literal PR board, a literal advertising board for an autocratic regime playing in the Premier League. And yet we're somehow shocked. We've got a team that have 115 charges against them. 115. This isn't like 2 or 3. This is 115. In sporting terms, they are the Lance Armstrong of the Premier League. Like, they are guilty. There's no smoke without fire. Nothing happens. Well, we might get a verdict. Well, we don't know what we're going to do. Well, because we don't want to take on the money men. We don't want to take on what's really going wrong. We've got leagues that are literally planning on playing games in different continents. Yeah, but, you know, it's to try and expand our borders. It's to try and get new fans involved. No, because them fans are going to go to that game. They're not going every week, though, are they? You know, Barcelona, Villarreal, AC Milan, Como, they're not going every week, are they, those fans? The ones that are not going to be able to go to that one. We have a commitment to our football clubs, but you don't care about it. And, you know, even in the English game now, the FA Cup is behind the paywall. You've got teams that don't even care about our domestic cup competition. The FA Cup's considered a distraction. It's not even considered a big deal. And now it's behind the paywall on TNT. So now who really cares? Oh, but, you know, fans can be heard. Look at the Super League. They got rid of the Super League. We still have a Super League. That is what the Champions League format is. It is literally a Super League. Oh, well, basically, we're going to let, you know, they're going to play 2 for this group, 2 for this group, 2 for this group, 2 for this group. And basically, we're going to play 8 games because what we want is we want more big teams playing each other in the group stage. And we don't really want any jeopardy involved. What we want is glamour games to sell off. And then when the knockout stages begins, that's when we'll start playing the real stuff. Because let's face it, under this current format, you have not got a chance in hell that any of the teams that are higher ranked are going to be knocked out. There's no jeopardy involved. And even last night, the World Cup, they've started seeding that because we want to avoid groups of death. Groups of death were part of the tournament. Believe me, as an England fan, 2014, I remember us being in the group of death and finishing dead last. We were awful. I'm an England Travel Club member. I don't know how on earth I'm going to afford to get this World Cup coming up because we've been priced out of it. But they don't care. The soul of our game is gone. They talk about the fear for the future of football. It went a long time ago. And I'm sorry, the house of cards will fall soon. And maybe, only maybe then, will we actually get our game back. You know, look at European football. They rely on the Premier League's money to basically buy their players, to keep their clubs going. I listened to an interview with Werder Bremen's chief executive or chairman, and he was saying that. He was saying, look, we need the Premier League money. Well, that's a false economy if you've ever seen one. Surely then you're just going to end up, it's all going to end up falling. And let's face it as well, our country, Britain, is not in a financially great position. So when the fans just say, I'm not bothering going, I'm not going to pay that, that's not an expense I can afford. And then what happens to the clubs? Then what do? But like I say, only then maybe will we get our game back. There's so much more to talk about. Saudi Arabia's got the 2034 World Cup. So actually, if you go back through 2018 Russia, Qatar 2022, 2026 the USA, which has become a Trump fest, and the Club World Cup, let's have that right. What on earth was that about? Let's host that in the States where nobody literally cares. 2030, we're going to have the least globally conscious tournament ever. We're going to play it over 2 continents, 6 countries. 2034, Saudi Arabia, great. 2038 is going to be back in America because they have to because of their cycle. It has to be back in North America. That's what? 6 World Cups in a row? The death of football happened a long time ago, and its resurrection will only happen when it truly, truly dies. When we as fans start doing something. But we won't. You know, we've got the pundits feeding to us constantly about, oh, it's great, this thing's great, this thing's great. You know, we have wall-to-wall top 6 coverage in this country. We have wall-to-wall top 6 coverage. Let clubs like Morecambe, Bury, other clubs as well, Sheffield Wednesday, are literally being allowed to die. But it doesn't matter. They cover it for literally 2 or 3 minutes. And then it's back to talk about Arsenal's set-piece routine or the crisis at Liverpool, which isn't really a crisis. Because if it was, then, you know, their fans would be out on the streets protesting. You lost a few games. I'm a Forest fan. I've seen a lot of losses. I've seen a lot of awful performances. Don't tell me about crises. Go and tell Morecambe about a crisis. Or Bury. These clubs that don't know if their clubs are going to exist. Absolute joke. And I love football. I love the stories that it can tell. But the stories are often not the ones that are being told by the mainstream media. And that's the truth. As always, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. Have a great day.